We're gonna finish up. Maybe we'll finish up the Google. Yeah, maybe we'll finish up the Google, um, the Google AI integration. Um, so let's see. I don't remember where we were at with this. Let's get everything from main. I'll rebase our. Git, trigger out the Gemini. And let's do a git rebase. Hmm. Premium. All right. I think that we are rebased on main. Here we go. So somebody told me so the problem we ran into the last time we were streaming this was when we were dealing with tool calls for Google. This response schema type thing was a problem. So I think what we need to do first is maybe we can regenerate the schema. Scripts generate. See if this works. Oh, Google API key environment variable. Cool. Um, Gotta grab myself an API key. Let's delete this one. Let's create a new one. Create an API key. Copy it. Google API key. And that was an old API key, so I technically didn't leak anything. Ethan, bonjour. Buongiorno. Um, so somebody told me that this thing now supports response schema. Somebody told me that Google now has the response schema JSON thing. Let me look. See who said this. Sorry. I swear somebody said this to me recently. Maybe it was in chat. Let's look at the docs together. So I swear somebody said a response structured output. JSON schemas. Configuring the model for JSON output using response schema parameter relies on the schema during the knowledge open property ordering field. Yeah. But I swear JSON schema support. JSON schema support is a more recent specification. Support for JSON schema is available as a preview using the field response JSON schema, which accepts any JSON schema with the following limitations. I feel like this wasn't in the docs when I checked last time. I mean, that thing was in the docs, but the actual response JSON schema is not in the docs anywhere that I can see. But that's fine. Whoa. Dylan, thank you very much for the raid. What's up, folks? Demol raid. Yeah, we are working on trying to finish up the Gemini or the Google AI provider for Effect. Released yesterday the Bedrock one, and I'm trying to get the Google one out. So allegedly, JSON schema, I could do this, even though it's not in the types yet, but it says this is available in a preview. And what do I got to do? Any JSON schema with the following limitations. Sure. So I think that means I can do use structured. Content does not exist, right? Contents. Yeah, so I don't think we need to do that anymore. Void never. Oh. The Scientist 1333 and Burrito Coding. Thank you very much for the follows. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. Hope you guys enjoy the stream. Let me know if you guys want me to work on anything else. I'm kind of flexible. We had been up until now working on my Twitch integrations, but I can't really think of anything else to add to them right now. So, I mean, if you guys have other things you want me to add, we can do that. But so what's the problem here? Void is not assignable. So we got to implement this clearly. But I think we're good here for now. So we don't need this thing anymore. We're going to try just using the JSON schema support and see if it works. All right. Let me pull up on the other screen my previous PR for Bedrock so that I can just take some inspiration. All right. Inches, ARI, Bedrock, source, language model. We want the make messages thing. Yeah, here we go. All right. So yeah, so we got it basically. So what we're working on right now is essentially tunes and TypeScript are always a good combo. Thank you. So what we're working on right now is we essentially need to take our effect model for input to the LLM and convert it to provider specific input. And then we'll need to do the same thing for output after that. So let's see if we can figure this out. So what we need here is we need to have an effect. And this is going to return contents, which is an array of type of generated dot generate message request. Actually, make request. Let's double check what type this needs to be. So generate content request is the type we're trying to go to. And we need an array of content. So here, generated.content dot encoded. We want the encoded side because we want to disgruntled dev. Hello, welcome. Zombie buffet. A lot of people are using Ghosty plus NeoVim. I think maybe a lot of people are. I don't know, but I know that I just like using NeoVim, and I stole a lot of like Dylan's excuse me, configs for the like tmux and everything like that, which is why my setup looks kind of similar to his. But I have my plugins set up like a different way. Clear Mio, hey, how's it going? Is effect mostly for the back end, not for front end? I think with the current version, we recommended more on the back end. Having said that, there are lots of people using it on the front end, and I think with the next major release that we have, so when we get to 4.0, which our goal is by the end of the summer to have some release candidates coming out, With 4.0, the bundle size of effect shrinks so much that it will be viable to have it on the front end, and we'll actually probably start building stuff for that use case. But right now, I think it's more back end focused. Is there a roadmap for Effect 4? Ethan, check Mike's YouTube video from Effect Days 2025. He gave, it's not a roadmap per se, but it's like things that we've implemented and things that we want to work on. So kind of like a general plan of attack. You got it. He does a good job of like outlining the things we've already done. Like concurrent streaming in Effect 4 is about 20 times faster than it is in the current version. The whole fibers, like forking fibers, gets a lot cheaper in Effect 4. So the whole runtime is a lot faster, or is faster on in the general case, but it's also more efficient. And yeah, streaming got a huge boost. We spent a lot of time trying to re-encode streams. But we also re-encoded a lot of other data types internally. So like schedule got re-encoded. So that's also a lot faster. What else? Metrics. I re-encoded the internals of metrics, so that should be a lot lighter and faster. So there are like a bunch of things that we're working on. But yeah, check Mike's YouTube video, the talk that he gave at Effect Days this year. He does a good job of going through like our priorities. Okay, so we want to fill up this array of contents to send to Google. So for top messages. So this is the general thing that we're going to do. We're going to build up this contents array and then return it. And that's what we'll probably send off to Google. So we need to switch on the message dot tag. Here it is. Let's do it like this. Let's start with the user messages. I feel like this is a little bit of an easier thing to grok. Yeah, no worries. It's just like there's a lot of things on the list, so that's why I feel like the talk gives a better overview. I don't know if I said thank you. I am Steve. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I really hope you guys enjoy the stream. Okay, so in here now, message dot parts. So we need to go through the parts of the message, and to do that, we need to know what the API accepts. So for text generation, sorry for the screen flashing, that's Google's website, not me. We need to know, can I just get like the AI docs? I mean the API docs rather. API reference here. Models. We want generated content. Currently figuring out Dylan's way of structuring services. Looks like a neat way to help with testing over effect.service. Yeah, I mean, effect.service supports that pattern as well, Ethan. I think that they just haven't leaned into it because there are other limitations of effect.service, but like, let's look at an example really quick of what I mean by that. Let's look at service.ts. So if we import effect, let's say my service extends effect.service. No, where's my LSP? Yeah. The VTSLS in NeoVim doesn't always work with this. Save my chair. Which is unfortunate. Let's say we have this thing, right? And we got a generator in here, and we do a ton of stuff to initialize the service, right? Bunch of stuff going on. And we return the interface of the service. So maybe this has like a foo method or whatever. So we've got my service now. And that's great. My service, right, has a couple of layers that it ships with by default. So there's a default layer, which if you'll see here, has my service as the like what it produces. So the default layer produces it produces my service. You'll notice that no other layers are generated right now. Only the default layers here. So we have the tag is the class name, right? So my service is actually the tag itself. And then we have one layer generated for us. If this service had dependencies, like let's say we had a dependency on the file system. System. Like let's say we had a dependency on the file system, right? Now the default layer requires a file system, right? Which makes sense. To construct my service, we need a file system, which is fine. And again, no other layers are generated. If I remember Dylan's like example, he also had a layer without dependencies or something like that, right? So this is the layer this would be like an example of like the layer without dependencies because we're not doing anything here to give a default file system to use. But let's say we did. Let's say we gave it node file system, right? So, yeah. So by default, effect.service just has a default layer, which requires the services that the constructor needs, produces the service that you're building. But you can also pass dependencies in here, right? So let's say node file system.layer. And now if you'll notice, the default layer has no requirements because we've provided a default one here, right? And now a second layer is actually generated for us, default without dependencies, which allows you to pass a file system. Or it doesn't bundle up any of the dependencies you specify here. So you have two layers that you generate. One is the default layer, which is the layer that's built with this. And one is the default without any dependencies. So this without this, right? And that's what's kind of useful for testing is like this one, you have the node file system, but you might not want that for tests. Maybe in tests, you want to use default with dependencies and pipe this to like layer.provide it's my service test. And maybe you'll do like a file system dot, I don't know, a no-op file system, right? And this could be like your test one. And now, like, this has the same signature. We've satisfied all the dependencies, but this is suitable for testing, whereas this one has the node file system in there, so not suitable for testing. And what's even cooler about effect.service is just like context.tag, it's a class. So if you wanted to, I don't advise this necessarily because like bundling gets tricky, but you could have a static test layer or whatever you want to call it and do this. Right. And now in tests, you can just do my service.test layer, which gives you your test layer. I think for me, effect.service is much more compact. Yeah, you could do that too. You could do, static test equals layer dot effect, whatever. However you want. But you can attach whatever statics you want to the class. So it's basically the same pattern, but with effect.service instead. Where in testing, you might not want the production dependencies you're attaching by default. Anyway, hopefully that shows how you can do pretty much the same thing with effect.service. The limitations of effect.service are that you can't have a function that constructs the service. Although I think they, I can't remember, but Mike and Tim might have like alleviated that constraint recently. I don't remember. All right, let's see what we can get done here. So we were looking at this text generation. No. Go back to the API reference. So we want to know this content type, what we can pass as parts. A data type containing media that's part of a multi-part content message. A part consists of data, which has an associated data type. A part can only contain one of the accepted types in part.data. A part must have a fixed INA MIME type identifying if the inline data field is filled with raw bytes. Okay. So it looks like this. We either have text or inline data, or a function call, or a function response, or file data. Okay. Oh, what a banger. Lucky I haven't rewritten anything yet. more 3 days grace period. Yeah, I mean, you can rewrite it however you want. Context.tag and effect.service are reasonably close. I just like effect.service because to me it feels like less boilerplate and everything's kind of like together. Let's start with text. So for const part of message dot parts, switch on part dot type, maybe dot tag case. Contents dot push. I'm assuming it's going to be something like this. Oh, I see. I prefer effect.service purely because it's cleaner. I didn't realize you could. Yeah. Well, that's why I streamed, to hopefully show off some of the things that people didn't know that you could do. So we actually, in here, want to set up a const parts array type of generated part encoded. And here we're actually going to collect the parts dot push text. Okay. And break. Now contents dot push role user. Right? Role user. Let's duplicate this. Must be either user or model. Yeah. Okay. User and parts. And then we can break. So we'll see what other fields we can set in here. Sweet, needs there not much of a reason for me to swap to context.tag to do testing shit. Cheers. Yeah. I don't think so. And like let's see if I can Um, just check service. So let's copy this. I want to see if I don't think this works, but maybe it does. Oh wow, it does. When did that get added? Cool. So you can actually pass a function now. Oh, that limitation is gone. That's really nice. I was pretty sure I read that on our blog, or maybe Mike put that in like a message in Discord or something. But okay. So let's see how we can maybe handle images and files. So inline data is a blob, which is raw media bytes, MIME type. Okay. But there's also file data. What is this? URI based data. Okay. So if we duplicate this one more time, let me go back here. Go to text generation, multimodal inputs. Hmm. One of the take-home tests for a job thingy with the tech requirement being Scala with cats or Zio pre right now, Zio part. Yeah. Zio and effect are similar in spirit. So the like effect, like my tweet said a few days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. Uh, effect started out as a direct port of Zio, and then we diverged quite a bit to really lean into JavaScript more, or TypeScript. And in 4.0, we're completely diverging. Like our Fiverr runtime looks nothing like Zio's anymore. But so I think what we can do here is if we have our URL part, like an image URL or a file URL, we'll just send that across as a file data. For this, we'll do parts.push inline data. Um, now this has to be a base 64 encoded string, I'm assuming. It usually is. File data, blob. Raw, a base 64 encoded string. Yeah. Raw bytes. Okay. So MIME media type, MIME type. Inline data. MIME type part dot, and the data is going to be encoding dot encode base 64 part dot data. I don't remember for the file part what we have on here: media type and data and a name. So actually, we could just do this. And then we can handle the URLs together as well. So here it's going to be parts.push file data file URI. Do we have to send a media type? The MIME type's not required. We'll just leave it out. This works. Later, Ethan. Okay, that's user messages, I think. Uh, we'll probably do something similar here. Or const part of message.parts. Switch on the part.tags. Case. So for text parts, I'm going to assume that it's going to be the same. Let's see. Text, inline text. Yeah. So parts.push text, part.text. Great. Reasoning part. Can we send reasoning? Indicates if the part is thought from the model. Okay, cool. So we can do parts.push. Function response file data, executable code, metadata. Thought indicates the part is thought from the model. So shouldn't we be able to? So this is going to be thought true. Yeah. Text is going to be part dot. Reasoning text is signature. I guess it's for this. Trump's big balls. Trump's big balls. Thank you very much for the gifted sub. I appreciate that very much. And Zombie Buffet, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy the stream. Um, feel free to request songs, by the way. At the bottom of your chat, you can click the channel rewards button and spend like 1 channel point to send songs to my Spotify queue. You just need the song link from Spotify. In fact, I'm going to request a few songs. I want to listen to this one. And I force everybody to listen to this song every single time I stream, I think. This one. Okay. Does Google support redacted reasoning? I don't know. I don't think so. For now, we'll just break here. And then pull call parts. So this is going to be I forget, is this the yeah, so this is going to be parts.push function call name is part.name ID part.id args contents.push role model parts and let me break. And then here for whoops. Let's cart of parts. This is all pretty not exciting. Ace. So this is always a full call result part. So we don't need to do this. We can just do part. Let's just copy this from here. Stop. Open response. Name. Part.id. Name is part.name. Response part. Man, we need to keep the name. I swear, every single provider has a different requirement. It's so annoying. Go back to the base package because now we have to fix this. The name of the two. Let's see. Uh, as tool call results. This is a map from the tool call ID to an unknown. That sucks. All right. If you go here, so the structured output has the name. We also need these two to have the name. A map of tool call ID to. I mean, we could just make these. Hmm. We could. We could do like this. Um. That actually means we could support like putting a getter on this or something like that to get a tool call by name. All right, we'll see how that feels. Um so this is now going to be read only name string, read only results. And this is also going to be read only name, read only results. Unknown. We just do this. So if we go back to here, we can actually, this is a class, right? Yeah, we can add a getter to this. Get tool call result. We'll potentially rename this, but this will be tool name, and we'll have AI tool name tools, and we'll get an option of AI tool success tools. We can do for const. We can do for consters of this dot results dot values. Main result. If name is equal to tool name, then we can return options that solve the results. Return option none. And see how many other weird errors we've introduced. That looks fine. That looks fine. I should really just run TSC, but what fun would that be? Actually, I can just do this. Cool. That fixes that. Language model looks fine. AI model looks fine. AI response looks fine for the moment. Telemetry shouldn't be affected. Neither should AI tool. Neither should the toolkit. MCP schema, nope. MCP server is fine. So in practice, what this allows theoretically. Mattia, what's up? How goes? In practice, what this should allow us to do is, let's say we do this with OpenAI. Doesn't really matter. We're not going to run it. The point will be here. If you have a response that is with tool call results, you should be able to now do response dot get tool call results, and we should get autocomplete here. So now I'm going to send this to somebody who was asking for this feature. Uh, okay. So this is kind of cool. We basically introduced support for getting tool call results by tool name. We might rename this method. Like I think maybe uh, I think this is fine for now. But with this, basically now we have the ability to do that. So okay, let's see if we broke anything in like OpenAI. This will give us an idea. I should really just run TSC. Let's just run TSC on the background. AI, Google, source, language model, npm. Oh, and I forgot the command that we call it. Check recursive, and then there's also check. I mean, this is going to return a bunch of errors from the current module, but okay. So we've got the tool message satisfied here, and we can now take contents.push. If we have a function response, this is coming from the user, I think, right? Google language model, Google language model. All right. So we haven't broken anything else. That's good. um, so now we should so we need to put the system prompt in there if we have one. I don't think we need the method in here. Because we don't have any. I'm looking at the I guess we could do this for, because I think the media type is required for the blob thingy, right? File data blob. No. Well, okay. Tool calls is done. I mean, contents is done. We still need to figure out tool conversion, because if JSON schema is supported, let's go back to that page where it said it was supported. Function calling, function declarations. I think we're still gonna have to figure this out. So we may still need to convert to the OpenAI spec. But let's keep going. So we have our request constructor. And if we look at our Bedrock version of this, we can probably just copy this. This is make request. Okay. Oh, wait, we need to make contents. We need to add the system prompt. Um, you can guide the behavior of Gemini models with system instructions. To do so, pass a generate content config object. Okay. So I guess we don't need the system in here. Um, but AI error. So we'll deal with the request annotations in a moment. We need to call the client to actually do the thing. I think we have an example in our scratchpad of the method we need to call. Let's take a look. Yeah, client.stream. So that's the streaming version. We want client dot generate text. Where's the generate content? Yeah, generate content. Okay, and this thing needs the model. Okay. There was another provider that we had to do this for, pass the model. I think it was actually Bedrock, wasn't it? Oh no, we adjusted the. Oh no, I did. Okay. Get option context model. Yeah. So we need option. Sorry, I'm not paying attention as well, folks. I am sort of kind of locked in. Ethan, for a second, I thought my dog likes effect because sometimes I say effect, he barks, but I also know he sometimes barks. I say, oh, fuck. Yeah, classic. You know what we can actually do? Since we're already doing this, well, they still want this. Make request. Plus. Oh, your model is missing. I have to pass the model twice? Okay. Sure. Let's grab the annotation methods. Copy. These will just go at the end. Type of generated dot generate content request. And we'll do an import from AI poetry. Generate annotations. All right. Response. All right. So generation config. And we need to check OpenAI AP, no, Open Telemetry Gen AI annotations. Um, we have like a provider one. Okay. GCP. Why? Okay. So we're actually using this one. This is a general purpose one, it seems. Okay. This is going to be a type of generated dot generate content response dot coded. We're going to have a response dot response ID project. Uh, um, so we need to um I think Anthropic had a similar thing here. No. Well, regardless, we're going to need to map the resolve the finish reason. So, do I already have that utility? I do. Cool. Internal utilities that resolve finish reason. Predicate that is not nullable. Let me do an array dot filter map. Spawn thought and do that is undefined and will finish reason. So if we have a finish reason, then we're going to do option dot sum internal utilities that are all finish reason, candidate dot finish reason, otherwise option dot none. Oh, yeah, this is fun. Uh, and then we need to do the usage piece. So usage metadata dot this is going to be prompt token count. This is going to be usage metadata dot candidates token count. I think that's good. Cool. So how's it going, everybody? Sorry, I was locked in a little bit there. This is all very tedious. Next tab mode. I don't know about that. This is all just very tedious garbage. I wouldn't consider this very like interesting work. So there should be a like system instruction thing, which we can set. So let's take this, put it here, and basically option not match. This is an array. Excuse me. Um, on some. Excuse me, guys. This seems fine. Convert tools, yeah. This we still need to implement. Annotate chat response. What does the response look like? Do I get the model back? Do they have any examples of responses? Probably not. Why would they? API reference. Generating content. If successful, it returns this thing. Output only the model version needs to generate the response. I'm going to say that we can just use model version here. Yeah. All right. So we need to still map the response back to our own domain. Yeah, this is fine. So we still need to map the response we get back into our own domain, and then we still need to figure out tools. But I think besides that, we're in pretty good shape. Yeah, so let's go here. So this is make response equals. Let's just copy the initial scaffolding. from the Bedrock implementation. And this is going to be a type of generated, but generate content response dot encoded. Don't think we need a model ID. And we're going to see if we can figure this out. So okay, so what do we have on this thing? Candidates. Parts might be undefined. All right, so we need to figure this out. Let's close these. We don't need them anymore. Let's duplicate this and go back to Gemini API DOS. And let's see here. So, AI models generate content. I'm assuming I can just take the first candidate, which is usually the case. So let's do that. How do we set this up in Bedrock? So we set up the AI response parts, and we immediately push the new AI response dot metadata part, I believe. Let's disable validation. Const disable validation. Disable validation. True. Okay. So in here, we have the ability to send some metadata out. So response.model version. What other stuff do we have here? I think we actually do get a response ID back with this API. Oh man, great song. Okay, I think this is fine. We're going to need to set up metadata. We're going to need the finished reason. Which all these dot resolve finished reason. And to do all of that, we're going to need the candidate. Candidate equals response dot candidates 0. And then dict finish reason. Unknown shirt to make us with things that they did. I forget. Was this the one where we had to like do special stuff for tool calls? Let's look at on the client screen. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, let's do this instead. Google AI language model. Description, no valid candidates declined. Uh, excuse me. Okay. So now we can get the parts equals candidate dot parts index content. Right. Why is this still undefined? Candidate is. Oh, right. What do we do here? All right. We've got to like do something similar to what we're doing here. We've got the parts set up. I don't think we need to do this. Yeah, we could do it this way. If the content is undefined, then we do content parts equals candidate dot parts or empty array. Probably move this into an internal utility, I guess. Or export const to resolve const. Content parts is going to be well, it's actually going to be just generated up part. All right. So we need import type everything is generated from. Actually, yeah, we do. Part. We actually need the AI response. Validation. It's true. Internal. We need AI input. AI input. What else do we need? Response to parts is an array. AI response dot part equals an empty array. And then at the bottom, we'll just return parts. Oh, this isn't going to work here because we're tracking the tool call ID. Shoot. Or we could pass this all in. It's just like at that point, it starts to get really unwieldy. So instead, we're just going to copy this and figure out what we need to fix. Um, what has tool calls equal false? Why is this still undefined? I'm checking it right here. Let me get back from this. Okay, so we do not get an encoded response back. I was wrong. We get this back. Which means over here we get that back as well. Okay. Scale over build out. Yeah. So what do we do in Bedrock for tool calls? In the make response thingy. All right. We'll have to think about this. So this will get us the content parts in the shape that we need them. And then we could probably do this. Similarly, we can get rid of this. So we get rid of this. Yeah. Um. So here is ID guaranteed. We've populated the client. Let's find out. Tool function calling. Define a function, call the model. Okay. The model then returns a function call object. God, it sucks so much that they don't return an ID all the time. Uh, I feel like we should just generate a random one. And why is this not happy? And errors missing the following properties from AI response. Effect AI error. Oh, right. Whoops. Whoops. At the very end here, we can't return the parts. We have to return the full response. New AI response, dot AI response. Parts. Okay. Still not happy. Cool. So now it's just the tools. Uh, it's just this that's unhappy. I think I missed a few follows. I'm sorry. Arnold WW and Ferngy, thank you very much for the follows. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream, even if it's just to chill and um, even if it's just to chill and to listen to some music. Okay. Let's test this thing out. Even with the wait, see, code gen. Even with the type errors, we should be able to still run TSX on the code. Um, so AI language model dot import AI language model generate text prompt. Tell me a bad joke. Google AI language model dot model. All right. Uh, Scratchpad AI. Very cool. Cool. Still need to figure out the tool call stuff. But this is very good progress. At least we've got input output mapping working. Uh, yeah, I need to test out like tool calling and see whether or not it works with JSON schema or not. Because if it doesn't, I need to write a mapper that goes from like JSON schema to JSON schema to OpenAPI schema, or yeah, OpenAPI schema. I think I'm gonna take the features from that I added to AI and move them to a separate PR. Let's do that. We're not going to push it yet. We're going to git stash show git stash drop. Great. Push. Git check out lane. Git check out the future. Tool call results stash pop git add dot npm change set support extracting the results of tool calls. Support extracting tool call results from AI response dot with tool call results. Extracting two lines. All right, folks. I think that is pretty good for today. I've got some other work I can't do on stream, so let me just finish up writing this PR. I can show you folks. Description allows extracting the results of specific tool calls from AI response with tool call results. And if I were to exemplify this, I could do something like word. I should just do it this way. AI response, AI or yeah, declare const. No, let's just go grab it from here. Cool. What the heck? There we go. Um, Cool. All right, let's find somebody to raid. I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much for joining the stream, and I will see you folks the next time.